Good morning, friends. Greetings and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to vitality and health and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body, you are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That is why we are here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 33 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system, it's a regenerating system, it is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis, and while some folks may call that a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we are here for you on The Bright Side at 844-236-6010. We love hearing from you, 844-236-6010. If you have a comment or success story you'd like to share, or if you just want to contribute to the conversation, 844-236-6010. You don't need to have a specific health question to contribute. If you have something to say, 844-236-6010. We just want to hear from you, and we love hearing from you on The Bright Side. If you want to purchase longevity products, go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. All the longevity products are up, plus a Join the Team link that you can click on if you want to sign up to join the Bright Side Ben team. For a one-time $25 fee, you can be in business for yourself. One-time $30 fee, you can be in business for yourself. For $30, you can start yourself a longevity business, work for yourself, earn some spare money, or make a full-time living. A lot of folks are making a full-time living and just telling folks and selling longevity products. Longevity products speak for themselves. Just give somebody some Beyond Tangy Tangerine. I'm sipping on it right now. It's amazing stuff, especially if you've never supplemented. For folks who haven't supplemented, and don't forget, most people are not hip to nutritional supplementation. You guys are, if you're listening to this program, but the vast majority of people still don't know about the importance of a nutritional supplement program, and even if they do, they don't know where to begin, and that's why longevity can be such an ideal facet of a good health program. Longevity makes it easy to get into the nutritional supplement world, and it makes it easy to get into the nutritional supplement business, a multi-billion-dollar business. If that sounds like something you're interested in, click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com, or call 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470 for more information. And don't forget to take a look at our truthnourishment.com shopping page. Thank you, Robert, for putting that up. Truthnourishment.com. We've got the radio program up, as well as blog posts and news stories at truthnourishment.com. Also, pharmacistben.com. You'll find our female hormone balance, herbal extract, the bergamot products, as well as superfoods and various EMF protection devices. We're always adding new products, so keep checking back at truthnourishment.com. And also don't forget to take a look at our skin health products at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. All right, welcome back to The Bright Side. We've been spending some time talking about a very mysterious and unfortunately troubling and, according to the medical model, incurable medical condition, health condition called fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia simply means fiber muscle pain, and if you're dealing with it, got one word for you: toxicity. Fibromyalgia is a toxicity condition. It's probably compounded by nutritional deficiencies. And remember, when your body is toxic, when you're dealing with toxicity, when you're subjecting the human body to toxins, and we're all doing that, toxicity is just part of how we live our lives, you're depleting your body of nutrients. Nutrients are used by the body to detoxify. This is such an important point that the medical model doesn't recognize. When you take a drug, folks, you're depleting your body of detoxifying nutrients. You're depleting your body of vitamin C. You're depleting your body of vitamin E. You're depleting your body of minerals, particularly zinc and copper and magnesium and manganese. You're depleting your body of essential nutrients to the extent that you're taking prescription drugs. This is such an important point because you're not going to see copper deficiency or magnesium deficiency or vitamin C deficiency diseases as side effects, but you're still going to have them, or you're at least going to be more likely to have them. So you take your statin drug, you take your opioid or pain-relieving drug, you take your beta blocker, you take your calcium channel blocker, you deplete your body of vitamin C, and now guess what? Now you're more prone towards heart disease. Now you're more prone towards strokes. Now you're more prone towards elevated cholesterol. Now you're more prone to other health challenges, and you'll probably get a drug for those too. Nutrients are depleted by drugs. They're depleted by toxins. Fibromyalgia is primarily a toxicity issue, especially around estrogen, but it also involves depletion of nutrients because nutrients are involved in detoxifying. If you're producing toxicity or subjecting your body to toxicity, the most important one is estrogen through either exogenous estrogens, so-called xenoestrogens from plastics and from water and from drugs, even from soy and other plants. Or if you're just not clearing your estrogen effectively, you're going to be deficient in vitamin C, you're going to be deficient in vitamin E, you're going to be deficient in various minerals, you're going to be deficient in amino acids that are involved in detoxification. You're just going to be deficient. This is why a nutritional supplement program is so darn important if you're dealing with a health challenge that involves toxicity, if you're dealing with any health challenge, or even if you're perfectly healthy. So, fibromyalgia is about toxicity, specifically about estrogen toxicity. Now, estrogen is known as female hormone. It's actually a generic term. The fact that estrogen is a generic term, there's lots of estrogens. There's really no such thing as estrogen. There are estrogens. When you understand that, it makes it a little easier to understand how to deal with this stuff. Estrogens are a family, and they're all over the place. They're in plants, they're in bacteria, they're in fungus, they're in the human body, obviously, an animal body. And yes, their main role, or let's say one of their main roles, is to grow a baby, but they grow estrogens grow things. They rev up the system. They're a revving up hormone. That's the problem with estrogen toxicity, because while estrogens are a revving up hormone, the breakdown products, they're called metabolites of estrogen processing, those are ultra rev up hormones. When the body is revved up out of balance with calming, this is when disease and all the unpleasantness of being in a human body show up, including cancer. You'll sometimes hear people talking about estrogen dominance. That means people who produce lots of estrogen. And yes, that's a problem, but not on its own. It's a problem when you have estrogen dominance and you're not eliminating estrogen properly. If you're carrying a lot of body fat, men and women, that's especially problematic. The Santa Claus effect is when men start to carry more body fat as they get older and they become more feminine. Men become more feminized the more body fat they carry. Women also become more feminized, extreme feminization, the more body fat they're carrying. And I'm not talking about feminization in a good way. I'm talking about feminization in terms of fibroids and cysts and endometriosis and reproductive problems and PMS and anxiety, etc. So body fat's the first thing you want to do if you have fibromyalgia or any kind of estrogenic health issue, including cancer. Lose body fat. Yeah, it's always a good idea to lose body fat, but especially if you've got symptoms, if you're symptomatic in terms of estrogen. Estrogen is processed through the body in 2 steps, like most poisons, or like many poisons. They call them phase 1 and phase 2. This phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification is very fascinating, and guess what? Phase 1 and phase 2 nutrition, or phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification, involve nutrition, especially the B vitamins and vitamin C and vitamin E and minerals and antioxidants. This is so darn important. You don't need a fancy detox program either. You don't need a fancy schmancy detox formula either. You need the basic nutrition, the basic building blocks. Actually, you know what? There's actually 3 phases of detoxification: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Phase 1 is not often thought of as detoxification, but it is. And when you have a problem with this form of detoxification, you got a big problem, or you can have a big problem with your health. We'll talk about that when we come back from our break. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back on the bright side right after this. Okay, we're back on the bright side. Pharmacist Ben here. Got lots of lines open. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you want to purchase longevity products, call 866-735-2470 or go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. Take a look at our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com and all our Truth shopping products, including enzymes and probiotics, and various protein powders at truthnnourishment.com, truthnnourishment.com. Okay, so we're talking about fibromyalgia and also polymyalgia, pretty much all health challenges. You can rest assured that if you have a chronic health challenge, you probably got a detoxification issue or a toxicity issue, one or the other. Scientists will tell you there's two major steps to the detoxification process. I say three. And the first one being the intestine, elimination through the intestine. Toxins, first and foremost, are eliminated out of the body intestinally. Of course, that means you got to have a healthy intestine. How many of us can say we've got a perfectly healthy intestine? You know, if you have a chronic degenerative disease of any kind, you probably got, almost guaranteed, an intestinal problem, and that means leaky gut syndrome, irritable bowel syndrome, colitis, some kind of intestinal health issue. Working with the intestine is job number one for any chronic health challenge. It's the first step in the detoxification process, and it's not really detoxification as much as it is elimination of toxicity. Detoxification, the way most people think about it, at least the way most scientists think about it, is as a chemical process. But technically speaking, eliminating toxicity out of the body through the intestine, that's a form of detoxification. So I like to think of that as phase one. Then there's phase 2 and 3, or phase 1 and 2, depending on how you look at it. In any case, the first step is in the liver, and it involves turning toxins into watery substances. Quick digression. You probably know this, but just in case, just repetition is reinforcement. There's two kinds of chemicals, two classes of chemicals. There's water chemicals and there's fat chemicals, water soluble or fat soluble. And this is a really important distinction for a lot of reasons. First of all, it's a critical distinction for detoxification. Making things watery helps the body eliminate them. Most toxins are fatty. Even minerals that are toxic can be fatty. They deposit in fats. So one of the ways the body eliminates and estrogen, by the way, is especially fatty, and one of the ways the body eliminates estrogen and other fatty toxins is by making them more watery. The body has enzymes, or the liver has enzymes that break these chemicals up, almost like digesting them. In fact, you could probably think of this form of detoxification as a digestive type of process because it involves enzymes making the toxins smaller and more manageable. The way enzymes in your stomach make your steak or your hamburger, your peanut butter jelly sandwich, or your salad, or whatever it is, makes the pieces smaller and more manageable. The first step in digestion in the digestive system is to make pieces easier to handle, or make substances easier to handle, breaking them up into pieces. Same thing in the liver. First part of detoxification digests the toxins, you could say. And many of the common nutrients that we talk about when we talk about the importance of health involve phase 1 detoxification, particularly the B vitamins. The B vitamins are major players in phase 1 detoxification. Folic acid is a major player in phase 1 detoxification. Vitamin E is a major player in phase 1 detoxification. Vitamin C as well. Antioxidants. If you've heard of milk thistle, which is a substance in milk thistle, helps phase 1 detoxification. These are digestive substances. They digest toxins, phase 1. Then there's the second step in the liver. I'm not going to include the intestine for now. We'll just call phase 1 and phase 2 in the liver because that's the way most people talk about it. So phase 1 involves digestion of the toxins, and phase 2 involves a skateboard. I like to think of it. What do I mean by skateboard? Phase 1 attaches chemicals, phase 2 attaches chemicals to these broken down toxins, like a skateboard, helping them flow out of the body more effectively. So phase 1 is a subtraction process. It breaks things down. Phase 2 is an addition process. It sticks wheels on the toxin. By sticking wheels on the toxin, theoretically anyway, the stuff is eliminated out of the body quickly. Amino acids are very important here, especially bone broth amino acids. Taurine, which is a very underappreciated amino acid, is important for phase 2 detoxification, putting wheels on the toxin, on the broken down toxin. Garlic, cruciferous vegetables, sulfur, MSM, the amino acid glutamine. All of these play a major role in phase 2 detoxification, putting wheels on the toxin. From that point, these toxins that have wheels on them are eliminated. How are they eliminated? Through the gallbladder, or through the bile, through the intestine, and also through the kidneys and through urine. So you got phase 1 digests the toxin. We'll talk estrogen because that's what we're talking about with fibromyalgia. Phase 1 digests the estrogen. Phase 2 sticks a piece onto the estrogen. Phase 1 digests the estrogen with the B vitamins. If you're on the birth control pill, if you're on hormone replacement therapy, if you're dealing with excess estrogen in any way, get on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. It is loaded with the B complex. It's also loaded with vitamin C. Also make sure you're taking a little bit of vitamin E with it, 400 international units a day with it. Probably a good idea for you to take to make sure you're eating your beets, your squash, your pumpkin, your carrots, all of which are great. Even corn, which isn't a great vegetable, but it's a good source of carotenoids, carotenes. The various carotenes, you probably heard of them as being good for your eyes, lutein, zeaxanthin, the reds, the yellows. These are very high in carotenoids, which are important for phase 1 detoxification. Remember, we're talking fibromyalgia here, folks. So if you're dealing with fibromyalgia, even though we're not specifically saying that, this is with all estrogen, but if you're dealing with fibromyalgia, this is vital. This step is vital, making sure you're on all your phase 1 detoxification nutrients, as well as making sure your intestine is functioning. Now, if you're not, remember, once the stuff is detoxified in the liver, now it's got to get eliminated from the body, and estrogen is particularly important, is eliminated through the gallbladder and through bile. So if you have a gallbladder removed, or gallbladder problems, or you're not making enough bile because you've got liver problems, or God forbid you're on a statin drug, which will affect how you produce bile, guess what's going to happen, folks? Your estrogen is going to build up, and you're going to say, oh, I'm achy. Oh, I got pain. Oh, my menopause symptoms are awful. Menopause symptoms are awful because of detoxification issues. Menopause symptoms don't need to be awful, folks. If you're going through menopausal symptoms, they don't need to be awful. Your menopause doesn't have to be awful. Your periods don't have to be awful. Your menstrual cycle doesn't have to be awful. All of these are signs that you're not clearing estrogen effectively, intestinally, phase 1, or phase 2 and 3 in the liver. So, lots of strategies here, even though the medical model has no idea what to do with fibromyalgia or toxicity in the body. And oh, by the way, simple aging, which decreases blood flow in the liver, can make estrogen detoxification or any detoxification more problematic, which is why as we get older, it becomes extra important that you're using detoxification nutrients and you're protecting the liver and you're not on prescription drugs. And guess who it is that takes most of the prescription drugs? That's right, people who are older and aging. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. Got lots of lines open, and we want to hear from you. 844-236-6010 is our number. You're listening to The Bright Side. We will return right after this. On The Bright Side, I'm Pharmacist Ben. Got lots of lines open. All our lines are open at 844-236-6010. So if you have not been able to get through in the past, now's the time to do it. 844-236-6010 is our number on The Bright Side. If you want to purchase longevity products, head to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. And you can also call 866-735-2470. You can click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com to sign up and join the Brightside Ben team. We've got blog posts, news stories, videos, lots of good health information on all our websites. You can check out our Truth Shopping products at truthnourishment.com and our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. Okay, read a couple of news stories here, and then we'll get your calls, 844-236-6010. Resveratrol reduces anxiety and depression. Resveratrol is a active ingredient, one of the active ingredients in wine. Now, we don't know if it's the wine or the alcohol in the wine or it's the resveratrol in the wine, but most oeophiles, people who like wine, will tell you that it's a wonderful antidepressant. And I know a lot of people who like wine. Personally, I don't really like wine very much, but wine is almost like a food in terms of its nutritional value. Lots of wonderful nutrients in wine. There's a lot of compounds in grapes and food, vegetables and produce and fruits that are not soluble in water, but they're soluble in alcohol. Resveratrol is one of them. So you're not going to get a lot of resveratrol in grape juice, but when you have alcohol present, resveratrol comes out of the fruit, the grape, very effectively. And by the way, it's not just grapes. If you've heard of resveratrol, you probably have heard of it as an active ingredient in wine, but it's not just grapes that have resveratrol in them. Peanuts have resveratrol. Cocoa has resveratrol. Berries have resveratrol. Blueberries are especially a good source of resveratrol. So you don't need just grapes. You don't need necessarily wine, but the alcohol in the wine tends to pull out the resveratrol because resveratrol is fatty. It's a fatty substance. Resveratrol, it's not like fatty like estrogen is fatty, but it's got a fatty nature and it comes out in the alcohol a little bit more effectively. Resveratrol, by the way, acts like estrogen. It is kind of like an estrogen, like a good estrogen. Sometimes you'll hear about good estrogen and bad estrogen. Good estrogen is supposedly plant estrogen, which is weak. And the weakness of the plant estrogens are leveraged or taken advantage of by healthcare professionals in order to block the effects of the strong estrogen. Remember, the toxic estrogen is really strong. And the thinking is that weak estrogens, plant estrogens, phytoestrogens, the thinking is the phytoestrogens protect us against the toxic estrogens, the strong estrogens, and there may be a case could be made for that because some of the effects of things like resveratrol are balance out or block the toxic effects of the bad estrogen. For example, bad estrogen tends to be, or strong estrogen we'll say, tends to be a blood clotting substance. And resveratrol has blood thinning properties. That's something to think about if you want to improve blood circulation or if you want to protect yourself against strokes or embolisms. If a doctor ever tells you not to take your plant blood thinner, your plant phytoestrogen, because it'll interact with your prescription drugs, and they will tell you sometimes not to do that. Personally, I'm thinking that is not such a good idea. Just change the dose on the drug if you have to, but don't not use your produce. Anyway, resveratrol has anti-estrogenic properties that may be helpful for fibromyalgia patients, may be helpful for anxiety patients, may be helpful as an antidepressant. And by the way, depression is also a toxicity associated with excessive estrogen. So resveratrol plays an anti-estrogenic role for a lot of reasons. Amazing stuff. You don't have to drink wine to get it, but wine is probably the best source. You can get resveratrol supplements. They're a little bit pricey. Longevity has a few resveratrol products, and off the top of my head, I don't know what they are, but theoretically, anyway, resveratrol could be a great supplement to take for any estrogenic kind of health challenge you have. If you're on a blood thinner or doctor's trying to manipulate blood clotting in your body, you may want to let them know if you're supplementing with resveratrol. But it is not like a drug. You don't want to think about these things like drugs, these phytonutrients like drugs. All right, speaking of blood embolisms, speaking of blood clots, thromboembolism can be caused by common antipsychotic drugs. Turns out that antipsychotic drugs raise the risk of blood clots, of lung clots, thromboembolisms, blood clots or clots in the lungs. These are serious health issues, and if you're on an antipsychotic drug, you may want to consider your increased risk for how your blood works, how your blood clots. Mellaril, chlorpromazine, these are antipsychotic drugs that are used with great commonality in hospitals, in mental health hospitals. There's also a lot of folks who are taking these drugs who are not necessarily in being hospitalized. Can't take any drugs without expecting side effects, least of all these antipsychotic drugs. The newer antipsychotic drugs have less supposedly side effects, but in any case, any kind of drug is going to subject you to increased risks for lots of other things, lots of things. And speaking of drugs, talking cure works better than drugs for anxiety. This is according to The Houston Center for Quality of Care, researchers from the HCQC, I never heard of this, but somewhere in Houston, I imagine, Houston Center for Quality Care, tested drug therapy against something called CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. That's where they talk to you if you're dealing with anxiety issues. And researchers tested drug therapy against CBT on a group of 134 participants, average age 68 years. CBT, conclusion here, CBT was far more effective. That's a quote. CBT was, quote, far more effective than drug therapy in reducing worry, lack of confidence, depression, and general mental health, unquote. And this is published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. I think you should always look for alternatives to all drugs, but especially if you're dealing with anxiety, depression, some kind of mental health issue. Drugs are not a strategy, and I know that the conventional wisdom is that it's not the patient's fault and it's a biochemical maladjustment. I'm not buying it. There's too much literature that talks about how things like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, also known as talking therapy, benefit people when they have mental health challenges. So the Prozacification of America with serotonin reuptake inhibitor drugs, as well as other antidepressant drugs, to me is more about drug company profits than it is about patient health. And I know that there are a lot of patients who swear by them. I understand that. I once did a talk for a bunch of nurses and about skincare, and they were all over it when I was talking about skincare. And then at the end of the talks, one of the nurses asked me about serotonin reuptake inhibitors. And, well, you know, I kind of gave her my opinion. That did not go over well with these nurses. They were completely bought into the medical model. I love nurses, and I love what they're doing, but a lot of them are bought in to the medical model, and needless to say, I did not get asked back. That's my position on antidepressants, SSRIs, and SRIs as a pharmacist. Now, if you are depressed and you take an SSRI and you feel better, I can't be anyone to say not. It's not I don't have the right to say not to take it, or to tell you not to take it, or even to suggest that you don't take it. But from a medical perspective, from a biochemical perspective, from a health perspective, if you take an SSRI drug, even though you may think you feel better with it, or you may feel better with it than you did when you weren't taking the drug, it isn't doing your body any good. There's no way we can target any drugs for just one biochemical or one pathway. But SSRIs work with serotonin, most of which is not even in the brain. It's in the digestive system and in the blood. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back on the bright side right after this. Okay, we are back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. I got lots of lines open for you. Got all our lines open for you. I'm looking for an email here that I got. Thought was kind of interesting. Of course, I can't find it. I'll have to do this tomorrow. A gal. Oh, here it is. So a gal wrote me, "Hi Ben, this is Sylvia. My husband and I are both doing longevity. Blah 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 blah. As I text you, my husband is having a minor outpatient surgery to remove a cancer. Since your specialty is skin issues, I have a couple questions I hope you can help us with. Number one, he's a postal worker. He's outside exposed to the sun. He uses suntan lotion SPF 50 religiously, and he still has cancer. That's how dumb and how stupid the idea that you wear a sunblock or sunscreen and you don't get cancer is. Cancer is a blood condition like all health challenges are, and the fact that it's on your skin doesn't make it any different than cancer inside the body. Although it's true that there are extra environmental assaults that you're dealing with on the skin, i.e. the sun, skin cancer needs to be regarded as a disruption or some kind of dysfunction in the biochemistry of the body. This is a gentleman who uses SPF 50 religiously, and he still has skin cancer. Then she continues, however, I am concerned about the commercial lotions and possible chemicals he's exposed to. Well, hello, yeah. You're rubbing the stuff on your skin. You guys, if you look at the ingredient deck on a skincare product, you're going to see a horror show of chemistry, especially a sunscreen product. It's absurd from a biochemical and a chemistry, an organic chemistry and inorganic chemistry standpoint. From a biological chemistry and organic chemistry standpoint, it is absurd. It is obscene. It is absolutely biochemically ignorant to rub this stuff on your skin. She continues, after the skin cancer removal today, they're recommending a lotion and light therapy. I was wondering about the possible side effects and benefits. Well, I don't know what lotion she's talking about. Here's what I got to tell you. If you're dealing with any kind of cancer, skin cancer or otherwise, number 1, eliminate the toxicity. Number 2, get yourself on a nutritional supplement program and make sure you're eating correctly. And number 3, do your slow, deep breathing. SDR, slow, deep, rhythmic breathing. There's no such thing as skin cancer, folks. There's no such thing as breast cancer. There's no such thing as liver cancer. There's no such thing as kidney cancer. There's no such thing as any kind of cancer. There is cancer cell disease. We think of organ cancer. It's really cell cancer. And when you think about it that way, it simplifies it and makes everything much more easy to understand, even if you don't have an 8-year medical degree or 12 years of medicine, including your residency, your internship, and seeing patients. All you got to do is understand that cancer, wherever it is on the body, is the end result of a cell that has been starved and suffocated and toxic past the point where it knows what else to do. It's a sign of cellular duress, and while nobody has skin cancer, they have skin cell cancer. Nobody has lung cancer, they have lung cell cancer. Nobody has breast cancer, they have breast cell cancer. All disease is cell disease. All cell disease is preceded by dirty blood. There are these fundamental ideas underneath the disease process that we need to address. For example, from Harvard Health Publishing, from Harvard Medical School, this is the Harvard Health Letter. Inflammation, a unifying cause of disease. Hello, unifying theory of disease. Hello, where have you heard that before? All disease involves inflammation. All inflammation is a defensive response. All defensive response means there's an offending agent. You see where we're going here? If inflammation is a unifying theory of disease, that means offending agents are a unifying theory of disease. Is nutritional deficiency involved? Yes, absolutely. Is suffocation involved? Hypoxia, low blood oxygen involved? Yes, absolutely. But at the core of it, you're dealing with a defensive response. Starvation, suffocation, intoxication ultimately lead to inflammation. A defensive response against dead cells, against dysfunctional cells, against cells that aren't doing their duty. Also inflammation from digestive toxicity. Work on the gut. Always work on the gut first. There are no prescription drugs that can do what working on the gut through nutritional strategies and food strategies can do, with no toxicity and really addressing the cause. That's why you work with food and you work with the gut. And you got to fast, by the way. If you're dealing with a chronic degenerative disease, you got to fast. And also, you'll feel better when you fast. But you got to fast so that you can kind of hit the reset button, because you don't notice things. When you fast for a day or two, and then you eat the avocado, and then you eat the bread, and then you eat the oatmeal, you notice things you didn't notice before. And always write things down. That's why food diary is so important. When you write things down, you can review. And for most people, you're going to be shocked at what you find out. And then, of course, there's nutritional supplements that are specific for helping the gut, and digestive enzymes are key players. The ultimate enzymes from longevity. Always do some apple cider vinegar with your digestive enzymes. You know, a lot of folks are under the impression that they can eat cholesterol and somehow help the brain. But do you know that the brain makes its own cholesterol? Cholesterol in the brain doesn't come in through the blood. Cholesterol is important, but cholesterol, I should say, eating cholesterol can be important, but eating cholesterol isn't going to help you with your brain. It turns out that the brain makes its brain cells make their own cholesterol, and the cholesterol in brain cell that's made in brain cells is very responsive to the circulatory system, particularly the lymph. You have a whole section in your brain that's dedicated to the control of fats and the control of the production of fats. It's called your lymphatic system. The brain has its own lymphatic system. The lymphatic system in general controls fats, eliminates fats, stimulates the production of fats. It's involved with the fatty system, and the lymphatic system is really important. But in the brain, it's especially important. Do you know you can have gluten intolerance in the brain? Do you know that there's a major relationship between intestinal health and the brain via the lymph? You eat food, you eat lousy food, your fats are off, you're not digesting your fats. That causes lymphatic problems at the level of the intestine. It will cause lymphatic problems at the level of the brain. And you will end up with mental health problems, and you'll end up with brain problems, and you won't have any idea that it's connected to poor intestinal health. This is how the body is structured, folks. It's very, very, very web-like, interactive, and networked, which means that it's impossible to treat things at the end because it's all networked. But if you can get to the soil or you get to the cause, it's much simpler. At the level of the soil, the level of the cause, you're dealing with the intestine, and you're dealing with food, and you're dealing with digestion, and you're dealing with blood sugar. And that's pretty much it. If you want to go one step further, you're going to be dealing with stress and inflammation. But really, it's just basically a food and a blood sugar condition. And when you think about the way we eat and you think about all the sugar we're subjecting our bodies to, it makes perfect sense that we're dealing with health challenges with a health crisis in this country of biblical proportions. Digestion and blood sugar. It's as simple as that. If you're going to a doctor for a chronic degenerative disease and you haven't worked on your blood sugar and your digestion and food, you have drank the Kool-Aid, and you are now going to be a ward, an unsuccessfully treated ward of the medical model. All right, 844-236-6010. I think my friend Lydia is on the line. What is up, Lydia? We got Lydia here?
Hi, Ben.
What's going on, Lydia?
So much better than the last time I talked to you. I was really sick when I called you last time.
You were? Like physically sick, I imagine. You're physically?
Well, no, yeah, because I was truly deficient in the iodine.
Oh, I remember. So you got on iodoral?
Yeah.
You got on iodoral?
No. I used it for 5 years. I stopped taking it in January, and that's how I got in trouble because I stopped taking it.
So what are you taking now?
I was taking iodine source. That's what it's called. That's the brand.
Okay, and gotcha. How much are you taking?
I'm only doing 3 drops a day because it's a different type of form than the 12.5 milligrams.
I remember you telling me about it, but you're noticing a difference.
A big time. I mean, I'm
awesome.
like better. I really got. I mean, it swelled up. The left side of my thyroid was swollen. I never seen.
That's terrible. Tell the listeners where you got it in case anybody else wants to get some iodine.
It's just iodinesource.com, and you can get it that way. And it's a good product. I really believe in it because I was only on it for 2 weeks, and I'm back to normal. I mean, pretty much back to normal. I mean,
awesome.
But I called for another reason, though. I just wanted to tell you that.
Well, you wasted all your time. We're out of time now, Lydia. What's going on? Well, tell me real quick. See, what do you got real quick?
It's about the retinol, 5%. I got it, and I'm not afraid to use it, but I just want to know.
You need to know how to use it. Okay. You listen every day, right?
Yes, I do.
Listen tomorrow or call me tomorrow, will you? I don't have enough time to talk about it, but that's our Truth Retinol 5% Gel, truthtreatments.com. Hey, good to talk to you. I'm glad you're feeling better, and call me tomorrow, okay?
Okay. I'll call. Bye.
Thanks, Lydia. Bye. All right. That's it for now. Thanks for listening to The Bright Side, friends. Truthtreatments.com for all our skin health products, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, criticalhealthnews.com for the longevity products, and truthnourishment.com for really cool shopping products. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for listening to The Bright Side. Have yourselves a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.